Hi, welcome to State of the Sister. I'm your host, Michelle J. I'm a Milwaukee-born attorney who practices in Chicago, Illinois, and I am your local political diva. Black women have had higher turnout rates than any other race and gender subgroup for the past two presidential elections. 96% of Black women voted for Barack Obama if they came out to the polls in both the 2008 and the 2012 election. Additionally, sisters came out in droves for the most recent presidential election, with 96% of Black women voting for Hillary Clinton. Come on, sisters, I appreciate y'all. You can hashtag trust Black women. So let's start with the national level. Right now, the House has really accomplished something very historic. They introduced two bills. The two bills that were introduced in the House were H.R. 8 and H.R. 112. H.R. 8 was the sort of big piece de resistance, so to speak, because it requires a sort of universal background check. That takes us from only requiring federally licensed dealers to engage or conduct a background check on purchasers of guns, to now private individuals, anybody who deals a gun. So Walmart, any random place that you can sort of go and purchase a gun, you'll now have to, if the bill passes the Senate, you would have to actually engage in or agree to a background check, and then they go from there. You'd have to clear the background check in order to find yourself with owning your gun. So it's a big step. It's all inclusive and things like that. And then House Bill H.R. 112 extends the 3-day waiting period that used to be in place. People would fill out their it's called background checks, and then the dealer only had to wait 3 days before they turned over the gun, no matter whether or not the background check came back. Now that extends it to the waiting period to 10 days. And this is a direct response to the Dylann Roof orchestrated mass shooting, where Dylann Roof had received his gun that he utilized in that mass shooting as a result of a background check not coming back fast enough. So let's talk about this in the lens of Black women. What does this mean for us? This means that this is a good step, but it is not the end. It's really just a good step. 9 out of 10 Black women, unfortunately, that are murdered by men are killed by someone they know with a gun, most frequently with a gun. That's an alarming number. It quite honestly, that is comforting that there would be some a background check required. We can't say that all men who engage in domestic violence and are killing Black women are all people who wouldn't pass a background check. That's ludicrous. That's crazy. I don't believe anything like that. So, like I said, this is just a beginning. This is a start, and that's one factor to kind of consider when sort of looking at things like this, that Black women are largely more victimized as it relates to being the victims of gun violence. This is something that I think it could be of great benefit to Black women, but the question is whether or not the people we are engaging with are getting these guns as a result of this sort of formal processing. That would be some research that still needs to be done. So I think it's a good thing overall. I approve this message. I approve this thing, but this piece of legislation. But I also think that there's more to be done. So on the local front in Chicago, we got a police academy that our outgoing mayor just broke ground on. It's an $85 million structure that a lot of people in the community were sort of against. It's going to be constructed in West Garfield Park. For Black women, I think this is a bad thing. I mean, because when is policing, enhancing policing ever the answer? It's never been proven to really be a solution for combating crime. It's just the easiest thing that legislators can do. it is the resource that they have. Like, oh, police, do more. We'll just apply more police. We'll apply more pressure. But really, that's not enough. And so, and additionally, Black people are hired to the Chicago Police Department at a rate 2 times slower than their white or Hispanic peers. And so, that said, it is, even though they're applying in great number, it's not translating well. So, because there's a process that requires a lot of privilege, the application process for the Chicago Police Department can take years to complete. And a lot of times, by the time the application process is complete, people aren't interested anymore. They've moved on. They found another job. They've begun to survive in a different way. And so that's a problem. But this is a problem, this structure, and what is thought about this structure is something that we as African American women should think about as we go into the Chicago mayoral race. Which brings me to my last point, which is elections. Currently, Chicago's in a very exciting time. Lori Lightfoot and Toni Preckwinkle are 2 African American women who are both vying for the Chicago mayoral seat. It is the first time in history that a Black woman will hold the position. However, and the election, just if you don't know, is on Tuesday, April 2nd. So make sure you get out the vote. Lightfoot is sort of the accountability candidate. She has a long history in the justice system. She is a former United States attorney, assistant United States attorney, and was the head of the Illinois Police Review Authority for some time, and has, quite honestly, a long history as an attorney. When I heard she was running, I was like, really? Oh, okay. All right. That's interesting. Only because she's not really, she's definitely the person. She's very intense. And so it was surprising because she's not like warm and cuddly. And so I wondered how that would play out and what that might look like in terms of her campaign. Additionally, then we've got Preckwinkle, who is more of the seasoned servant. She's definitely a great candidate, has been Cook County Board President for some time, but she might be a little entitled. It really depends on what you're looking for in a candidate. Either way, we're gonna face some challenges. With Lightfoot, I think the challenges are more so with how she's gonna manage the police department. What she thinks about, the law and order approach to things. And that's a big deal in Chicago. While crime does need to go down, we have big problems with police accountability as it relates to police involved, sort of torture and things like that. So that's something that needs to be addressed. Whereas with Preckwinkle, the issue is more widespread in that it's, are we going to get any change with her? Are we going to get any, she knows how to run the city, but does she know how to hear a more progressive constituency that seems to be evolving and developing as time goes on? And so finally, my final point, anyway, this has been State of Our Sistahs, and I'm Michelle J, and I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day.